You'll see that I'm back in that document made up of the sample text, and you may or may not have noticed that this sample text is all about features that you can do within Microsoft Word. So it's saying things like save time in Word by doing this, and Word provides this, that and the other. But let's imagine you're reviewing this document, you're proofreading it maybe for somebody else, and you decide that it would be better, rather than just saying Word does this and Word does that, you would rather it said Microsoft Word every time instead of just Word. So this is going to lead us to the find and replace capability, but in order to set us up for this, I want to just use the straightforward find to start with to identify all instances of the word Word. Okay, so on the Home ribbon tab, I'm going to click Find. That will open up the navigation pane down the left-hand side, which has got all sorts of different uses, and we're going to come back to this in a different skill. But for now, I just want to find all instances, please, of the word Word. And you can see they are now highlighted in the document, and you can see down the left hand side here I can click to go to any one of these if there was a particular instance that I was interested in. And what I would like you to note is that by default it has also identified the word Word if it's part of another word. And I realise I've given myself a tongue twister, haven't I, by choosing the word Word. But you can see what I mean here. I'm not going to want to replace that instance of Word with Microsoft Word. So with that in mind, there's a special option we're going to need to look out for when I do my find and replace. So let me close down that navigation pane at the left-hand side here. And this time I'm going to click Replace up here at the top rightish of the Home ribbon tab. And I'm going to say, yes, please find instances of the word Word and replace with Microsoft Word. But if I click this More button, I need to tell it to find whole words only. That'll mean it'll skip, for example, the word keyword, which included the word Word. So if I choose that, and if I was feeling bold, I could choose Replace All. If I was feeling more cautious, I could step through each instance and decide whether to perform the replacement, and if you weren't sure, that would be a sensible thing to do. But I am feeling bold. I'm going to choose Replace All, please. So yeah, it seems to have made 16 replacements. Do I want to continue from the beginning? So I may as well, because I'm not exactly sure where I was clicked when I performed that replacement. So I click OK. Let's just close down that Find and Replace dialog, and you can see straight away that it has not meddled with the word Word within the word keyword. But up here, there we go, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Word. Yeah, it seems to have done what I needed it to do. Perfect. But let's just do one more example of find and replace. Let's say I want the word click to be bold every time it appears in this document. So you can see that the word click does appear quite a few times there. That's an instruction. I want that bold. So this time find click and replace it with click. But I want it to be bold, so I'm going to highlight the word click in the replacement bit here and press Ctrl B on my keyboard to make it bold. There we go. Again, I'm feeling confident, so I'm going to choose Replace All, and if I click OK to that, it seems to have made 39 replacements, and we should be able to see quite quickly there, yes, lots of bold clicks there in the document. Great. So find and replace can be a very useful time saver. You'll see that I've switched to the draft job description document here, and it doesn't matter if you're using the formatted one that we ended up with at the end of the last video or whether you're using the original document, it doesn't matter. But let's imagine that I want to put the little trademark symbol at the end of Microsoft Office here. Now, I've no idea if that's a correct use of the trademark symbol, but it doesn't matter. It's just an excuse to try out putting in some symbols. So if you put your cursor in position, go to the Insert ribbon tab and choose over towards the right hand side, choose Symbol, and you will see it'll give you some recently used symbols. And indeed, because I was doing a bit of a run through before I started recording, there is the trademark symbol, but that would be cheating to pick that because yours probably isn't in the recently used list. So if you go into More Symbols, and I would suggest you stick in the normal text font here, because you might be familiar with, if you scroll down, things like Wingdings if you want really silly fun symbols and whatnot. So anyway, lots of different fonts we can choose from to pick up other random symbols. But if you stick with just normal text at the very top of the list there, that's where we'll need to be for these examples. And then scroll down towards kind of near the endish, and you should see, there we go, the trademark symbol, which, yeah, you can insert at the point of your cursor. So let's click Insert. Rather disconcertingly, the dialog box does not go away, but if you just move it out of the way, you will see that it has, there we go, it has put the symbol in the place of the cursor, so you can confidently close that dialog. Good. But now let's imagine, if you look at this company name here, Kerr Engineering, let's imagine that Kerr is actually spelt with a special character for the O and the E, and it's a special character whereby the O and the E are kind of glued together. I don't know what it's called, but let's imagine if this is your company or it's an important client's company, you're going to want to type it correctly with the special character. So again, this is another reason to insert a symbol, but notice that when you do insert a symbol, it'll insert it in addition to what you've already got typed. So I'm going to select the existing incorrect O and E as separate characters there and have that selected when I go into that same dialog box to have a look for that symbol. And again, for me, it is showing on the recently used symbols list, but as I said, that would be cheating. So let's go in and find it. And it did take, I have to confess, it took me ages to find this symbol. I mean, there's the A and E glued together version, but I want the O and E glued together version. So shout when you see it. There it is. Brilliant. But while I'm here, there are one or two other options to point out to you. Firstly, it'll tell you what the shortcut key is for that symbol. So if you want a keyboard combination to insert this symbol next time, then it's Control ampersand capital O. So that's going to be basically Control Shift 7, because it's the Shift 7 you need to get the ampersand, keeping the Shift key held down to get the capital O. So Control Shift 7 O would give you that particular character. Or if you click shortcut key, you could define your own shortcut key if if the default one was a bit tricky to remember. And while I'm here, you might also notice that some of these characters, yeah, that's a good example. The shortcut key is Alt with a series of numbers. And that is quite a common scenario that you will see, and those types of shortcuts will only work if you've got a separate number pad on your keyboard. So if you're using a laptop keyboard, for example, that just has the numbers across the top of the the main keys rather than a separate number pad at the side, those won't work. But anyway, I'm digressing. I'm going to insert that symbol. Oh, before I actually do that, notice there's an AutoCorrect button here. Hold that thought. We're going to come to that at the very end of this video. But anyway, I'm finally ready to insert this symbol where I've got the selected text there. So if I click insert, you can see it has replaced the selected incorrect two separate characters with that symbol, so I can happily close that dialog box because the job is done. But if I go to this other document, so it's this one here, sales proposal for Kerr Holdings, this is where I realise that the word Kerr is spelt incorrectly in several places throughout this whole document. So I want it to be correct with the correct symbol, and I think you can probably guess that this would be a splendid candidate for find and replace. So let's do it. And in order to make life easy for ourselves, I'm going to go back to that document where I do have the correct characters used for the word Kerr, and I'm going to copy that. So Control C to copy that. Now let's go to that sales proposal where I want to do that find and replace. So I'm going to do a find and replace. I'm going to say, please find the word COEUR and replace it with Control V there to paste in what I copied. So I'm replacing it with the version of Kerr with the special symbol. Again, I'm going to be bold here and choose replace all. It's made 6 replacements. Fantastic. And you can see at a glance there. Yes, it's done the job. Good. So things are going quite well. I can successfully insert symbols. I can use find and replace in these sorts of situations, but that doesn't really help me next time I want to write the word Kerr in the correct way. I mean, yeah, there was a keyboard shortcut we could set up, but I'd now like us to look at a feature called AutoCorrect that we could set up to make sure that it will automatically change what I type here to the correct typing of Kerr with that symbol. So as you might guess, the general purpose of this feature called AutoCorrect is to automatically correct errors. So I'm just going to type in an errorful sentence here. So today, and you will have noticed I just typed today with a lowercase t at the beginning, but it automatically changed it to a capital T. So today is Tuesday. Again, I've spelt Tuesday with a lowercase t and it capitalizes it for me. And this is a spelling, spelt wrong, and it corrected it. Mistake, so mistake. Yeah, corrected that as well. And just for good measure, let's say I'm doing this in France. Now, if I want to do a capital F for France, let's imagine I mispressed on my keyboard and I pressed the caps lock key by mistake. So I end up doing this. I'm sure you've done that, but I haven't even noticed because I'm still looking at the keyboard, press the space bar and it automatically corrects. So that is this feature called AutoCorrect in action. It's all of these corrections going on in the background without you even realising. You just think you are a fabulously accurate typist, but no, all of these things are happening. And you might notice that as you hover your mouse back over where those autocorrections happened, you get a little button that pops up. So let's imagine it made an autocorrection that you didn't want it to happen. You think, no, change it back to whatever I typed in. It'll do that. Or let's imagine you say, no, please don't ever capitalise the names of days ever again, for whatever reason. Can't imagine why you'd want to do that, but you can. So I am going to do that, and you'll see where the option is in a second. And you'll also notice on that same button, again we can see it there for the capitalisation of the beginning of sentences, you can go into the autocorrect options. So that's what I would like us to take a look at. So there are a couple of different tabs in this dialog box. We want this first one, the AutoCorrect tab, and you will see there are various options that are checked. For example, capitalise first letter of sentences. Yes, that's what happened with the capital T for today. But notice that capitalise names of days is unchecked. That's because I used the button to say, no, please don't ever capitalise the names of days ever again. If I change my mind, I can check it again. Correct accidental usage of the caps lock key. That's what happened when I typed in France there, so that worked well. And then, rather wonderfully, we have a great long list down here whereby whatever you type that appears in the first column, it'll replace it with whatever's in the second column. So for example, let's just pick a random one. If you type in customer, but you type it customer rather than customer, it'll replace it with the correct spelling of customer. So there are loads and loads already pre-populated. And at the top, interestingly, given the first symbol example we did in this video, if you were to type TM in brackets, that will give you the trademark symbol. And again, you can see it's providing you with shortcuts for putting in the copyright symbol or the euro symbol, for example. So that would be an alternative to using the insert symbol dialog box that we used. But also rather fantastically, which is what I'm building up to here, you can use this to enter in your own shortcuts. So I've already got one for a friend called Chloe. Now Chloe, my friend, she spells her name with the little dots over the E. So I've got a shortcut so that every time I type in Chloe, it'll replace it with the correct typing of Chloe. And that's exactly the sort of example that we want for our cur example. So I want, whenever I type in C-O-E-U-R, I want to replace it with the correct typing of cur. And I think I've still got it on my clipboard, haven't I, from when I pasted it into the find and replace dialog box. So let's just paste it again. Good. So I'm going to add that to the listing and click OK. So the next time I start writing cur holdings or whatever it is, so C-O-E-U-R, perfect. As I press the space bar, it changed it to that special character. Excellent. That is a real time saver. You can delete entries as well. So we were obviously just putting that in as an exercise. So to get back into that dialog box, you could go back in using the button on the autocorrection that's just happened. But if you don't have a convenient autocorrection that has just happened and you need to find the dialog box independently of that, then File Options, Proofing, and then Autocorrect Options. That's the same dialog box. So let's find that one that we set up. Let's just tidy up and delete that. So I've selected it, press delete just here. Click OK, OK again. So AutoCorrect. Not only is it fantastic for correcting your errors, but it's great for creating little shortcuts for slightly difficult things to type like this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from CBT Nuggets. Oh, and also, if you're new to IT or are interested in an IT career, visit cbtnuggets.com and sign up for a free, yes free, a free trial.